Alrighty, we're at 3:30 Eastern here. So starting up today's late day Q&A for trade ideas. Sorry, just getting just a moment and step behind with some support tickets that I've been working on here. So here we go, 3:30 Eastern, Trade Ideas live Q&A support, open forum for anybody who's never been before. I don't come with any pre-done content. I like it when you guys are interacting, asking questions, driving the content. I think it makes it a little more tailored to the type of support you all need around the software itself. Of course, if there aren't any questions, we'll go over some things that I was looking at, some market thoughts, some chart thoughts. I just always disclaimer that I'm not a CMT, although I made mention the other day, I will be starting to take the exams or studying for the exams in the new year, taking the level 1 in June with any luck. So then maybe I can start to talk a little more like a professional then. So with that said, let's fix my resolution here on my display settings. I think it looks a little nicer when I blow that up a little bit there. So it's going to take a second to resize itself. And again, if anybody has questions right away, please fire them away for me. That's what I'm here for. I want to give you all the most support possible for this platform. I know, it's an in-depth platform. There's a lot here. You could spend years on this platform and still not know everything. In fact, I'm living proof of that. So come with the questions, and we'll see what we can do to get them best answered. Whether it's building a scan or talking about a top list, brokerage plus, the odds maker. Is this where the crash starts? Yeah, with just two more trading days. So make sure get as short the market as possible right now. That's only financial advice for Sean McLaughlin, though. I know how Sean has been calling tops for years now. So speaking of tops, all right, we're setting up for another crash now. We'll look at there's a 15-minute SPY chart, and I was teasing earlier today saying, if you just looked at this here, you'd have thought maybe the Fed took the SPY private today as a buyout, I guess. Starting to try to break that range now to the downside, but still hefty gap up on that day. So good stuff. Always something interesting here in the market. That's right. Depending on what your time frame is, it's always just early. It's always relative to our time frame and our trading plan. Just as long as you have enough to cover those calls when our friend Margin is knocking on the door. So what are some things that I was looking at today? I'll be honest, I wasn't looking at a whole lot today. But I've got my curated like list that I do like to go through. I've actually been doing a little more cleaning out of it recently. Some of these I keep on here because I have some chart patterns that I like. Some I keep on here because I've kind of found a rhythm with trading them. BCRX is one of those. I haven't traded it in a bit here, but I did, found a rhythm with it all back through here and through the winter until the early summer. I've kind of let it go, but I've left it on my like list. You'll find a lot of times stocks have a personality. And so I kind of found one with this one. So just having its day in the sun today, nothing special about it. I mean, it's great doing its normal volume as it's been doing, still kind of in an overall downtrend, but for now, keep an eye on it. Let it hang out there. As I really cut this list way down. It's probably up about 100 symbols now. I'm probably up around 40 or so, give or take. And some other things just have some patterns that I've liked coming into this week. So Swim, who's out there buying pools. And what do I like about this? We got this, the sell-off that came down here. We bottomed here. We had a nice earnings move, and we've held that earnings move and made that little scoop up right there. So I like the way this is setting up going into tomorrow. It's not overly liquid with 600,000 shares traded. We're doing 1.6 on the relative volume. Again, for those that aren't familiar with our relative volume filter, it's a 10-day average that's weighted a little more at the open and at the close. So we're, hanging just over above what we've been normally doing over those 10 days. And the way this is pulling back into those moving averages, almost like we built a base again here, we possibly built another base here. And so I'd like a shot at taking that out, and then maybe we're going to move up to here. Does that mean it's getting there? No. But I like to look at setups that are quality to my eye and make the actions accordingly from there. Some other things that I've liked that I've been looking at, pure storage, some computer storage, manufacturing device. This one here, same kind of concept, very similar in the charts that I was just looking at with SWIM. You got this sell off, we make a nice base down here. We get this gap up, and we hold that gap up all the way through here. We sold off into earnings, and we've moved nicely off of earnings again. One other thing that I like, anybody that knows me, you buy stocks going up, not stocks going down. And nothing says I'm going up like all-time highs. Sorry, I'm trying to squeeze this in here so I can bring this up in my single stock window. The fact that we are with all-time highs again today on the stock. There, maybe I can illustrate that here. Fighting with my single stock window. There we go. It was a losing battle for a minute. There we go. So, 3266 was from yesterday. Or excuse me, from a couple of days ago. We gapped up from yesterday. That's what I was meant to say. Sorry, I got a little distracted with that single stock window fighting with me. And so once again, we're pushing up on all-time highs again. That doesn't mean you go chase it and buy it at all-time highs right now. If that's what your plan says, yes, that's what you go do. If you don't have a plan, then you don't go buy a stock at all. So this is one that I'll be looking to maybe find myself an entry on. Just one of the things that I do because I do like to try to swing things. I like to look at daily and weekly charts. I haven't pulled up weekly charts very much in any of these Q&As that I've done, but I do a lot of weekly chart looking during my evening scanning. I have a layout for scanning in the evenings. And so I'm looking at here is we are a bit extended off this 8 EMA on the weekly chart here. I'd like to get a day or two of consolidation, give me a little better entry. And I feel like that gives me a nicer risk reward. You can see that just below this 30 area, the body of that candle, the body of these candles here, makes for a nice risk reward area for stop and all-time highs, blue sky, meaning there's absolutely no resistance above. So I've defined a well-defined risk with, obviously infinite isn't the possibility, or is the possibility, I should say, as far as where the stock could go. But to see, a nice couple of dollar run up versus a couple of dollar run down for risk reward, trying to keep it healthy essentially on that risk reward ratio. So these are thoughts that I have. I go into this a little bit because I think one thing that a lot of newer traders struggle with, I struggled with a lot, was having a trading plan. How do I share size? What gets me into a trade? What gets me out of a trade? These are just as important as any scan. Yes, the scans give us actionable ideas, certainly help us find chart patterns that we like, but just because you like a chart pattern, well, how do you manage the entry on that chart pattern, so on and so forth. I found personally for me that a trading journal is what worked best. I didn't use anything fancy. I just wrote things down old-fashioned way, pad and pen, notebook and pen, whatever. And going through trades every week, what was a winner, what was a loser, why did I enter a trade, how did I manage that trade, where was the price action at the max, at the apex of the trade, so on and so forth. And kind of starts to give you what your sins are more or less in your trading, and that's where I more or less formed my plan from. So I don't want this to become, I'm not licensed or supposed to be teaching trading, but we can certainly talk about what makes a trading plan and things like that. I'm not going to give you a trading plan. I can certainly give you ideas on finding a trading plan, though, or how you can find a trading plan for yourself. So it's a twofold step here. It's, one of the reasons I also did this late day Q&A. I do like to talk about scans, building scans, the software itself, functions of our charts, compare count windows, top lists, brokerage plus, the AI Holly. So if you have questions on any of those things, don't hesitate there. I've had people come in and then leave an email saying, "Oh, there wasn't anything about the software in the Q&A." I mix it up. So if nobody's asking software questions, I might lean away from the software for a little bit and just talk some trading and charts. All right. So you can't get your questions asked. Excuse me. You can't get your questions answered if you don't ask them. So with that said, anyway, so that's looking at some different ideas here. Again, things that I like about this. So we're took out an all-time high again today. 5.3 mil shares traded today. We're just under 2 times its relative volume going on here today. So these are things that it's not just going up. There's interest in this. Okay, and when things got wobbly and choppy back here, we didn't get so wobbly and choppy back here, to be honest. Pretty much held off. It seemed like an orderly sell-off for that week going into earnings. So those are the things that I'm looking for. That's what I'm trying to find here. And I find these things in a few different scans that I use at night. So, and again, I see people, coming in and coming out. So I never know exactly what the numbers are for viewers, attendees in here. But, it's an open forum. So if you folks have questions, ask them. I can't answer those questions if you don't ask them. So, all right, that's looking at a few things that I have on my mind here. Something that just jumped right at me. I had been very bullish energy for a while, going back to last February, up until a few weeks ago. And it's not so much that I'm not bullish energy. The charts just aren't showing me quite what they were. It's been a pullback in a lot of energy. Is what we see now a dead bounce, bull trap coming back up? Was it a bear trap that moved down? I don't know. I just watch the charts. But TI strength alerts, it's something that I like very much. MGY is something I've been watching, traded a few times at all-time highs again, or near its all-time highs again. So it made all-time highs back here. We're right here now. Our stock composite rating's got an 88 on it. This stock composite rating here on the TI strength alerts has a 93 on it. Nice liquid stock, doing almost 3 times its normal volume going into the close here. These are all things that I like very much. I would also be remiss to note something on the weekly chart that I like here. Make these little cup and handles almost, not quite cup and handles, a little shallow, little short to be cup and handles. But these levels, all right, with these dips, well, we see the same thing right here again, all right? And we come down, we challenge this level where it was a big breakout level, and now we bounce right back off of it again on the weekly chart. So you better believe, as a matter of fact, that's going right on my like list. I'll do a little more work on it, and there's a very good chance we can even add it right now. I'm going to stick a price alert here. There's a very good chance I might be in this tomorrow. Again, does that mean you should be running out and buying it? Absolutely not. Does it mean you should go home and do your homework on it if you think that chart's interesting to you? Absolutely 100%. Yeah, I mean, we call it a whole lot of things here. Is it the so whoever ran up the market today, between whatever big funds are buying to pull that up, or it's the Fed. It could split hairs on whatever brought the market up today. There's a game of chicken going on at this point. We get this big gap up on the SPY here, and I think most index charts that we look at. All right, Dan. Well, send me the bill if you lose. All right. If look at this SPY chart, if we pull up the RSP, the Qs, the IWM, MDY, any of those indexes that I like to look at, and you're going to find that they all had a gap similar to this. 45-minute move before hitting range bound here today. It's almost like everybody's playing chicken with each other from here. Nobody really wants to push it up over 470 again, but do you really want to be short it right here? I mean, could you imagine anybody that got short here or here right now, or even here, and now you have that happen to you? And I mean, anybody that's going short the market overall, I don't surmise they're taking any kind of small position. So now all of a sudden you short the market back here, and you thought to yourself, yeah, I got it. We're chopping, we're grinding down. And all of a sudden you get a gap up here today, and then you get a gap up here again, gap up yesterday, and a gap up here again today. It's not fun. That's not fun for anybody. So anyways, price action volume, that's all that matters. If you ask me what's the one indicator I'll take, it's price. Give me price. Everything else lags price. So, anyways, some thoughts there on a few different things here. I won't lie, the TI strength alerts for a few weeks gave me some really decent ideas. I did okay with them. I could have managed some trades better, but that's the name of the game. And then for the last few weeks, I really haven't found anything that I could work off that I like. I have my price range that I like. I have a certain amount of shares I want to see traded. I have certain kind of charting patterns I want to see for confirmations with how far away we're running from moving averages and things like that. It just wasn't giving me anything really that I liked. And now GSK is a little out of my price range, but I don't know. I really like what I'm seeing here on GSK, right? We get this rolling move like this right here. I like that very, very much. Again, cup and handle like, all right? So, these are things that I'm looking at. Certainly a nice liquid stock here. Sorry, for 1 second, I was looking at this SGH. I'm like, how is that showing 500,000 and that showing that? So had me tripped up for a second there. So it's a nice liquid stock. It's got a big float on it, but it still moves quite well. Look on the day today here, 50 cents, 58 cents with that gap up, 42 finally broke that number and made a nice move up towards 42.50. It's the kind of stock that you can get into, and, the complete flip side of what Barry trades. Anybody that's in the trading room with Barry and knows that he's, trading stuff like here, it's always like to follow along on some of the crazy stuff he's looking at. So right here, for example, SYTA. I mean, this thing was insane today. I was watching some price action on it and time and sales. And then, I mean, can you imagine, all of a sudden you get this move from 7 to almost 6, just like that. And like, that wasn't just in 15 minutes here. It's the same move on a 5-minute chart right there. No, thanks. I'm not saying that don't trade those. If you have the personality, if you want to do that's kind of trader you are and you do well with that, all the power to you. Once in a while, I find a stock that's making some quote unquote faster, more volatile moves that I seem to have a handle for and do okay, but they're few and far in between for me. They're just not my cup of tea to trade. What does score represent? TI strength. It's a combination of some debt to cash ratio, I believe, and no, not market cap. Some volume and maybe position and range. I forget what's in the filter. I don't actually have the code for it. I saw it once and I don't know, some documentation that was passed to me. I honestly don't remember what it is now, but it updates real time. And it's got, let's say, 30% fundamental data and 70% technical data that's involved in it. So you're just combining a little bit of fundamental data with some technical data in our composite rating here. I mean, you can add that to a top list or anything like that. So, a lot of composite ratings that are out there don't update in real time. They update once a day or once a week or once a month, whatever it is. So, this is what we have here for that. I don't know if we got what's in the definition for this or not. So over 15 metrics, mostly technical, with with important fundamental data, measure scores. Yeah, it doesn't give me anything else. It'll change it, and it works real time, meaning before and after market and during market too. So you're covered everywhere. Sorry, so there's some stuff going on here. In the chats, my apologies. I won't harass Andy about it now, but I'll put a note for myself to ask him what maybe a few of the filters are in there to get you guys a better idea of what that is. So sometimes when I'm building scans, I like I said, I have my go-to scans that I like, but I still like to build scans. I just enjoy doing it. For whatever reason, I enjoy building scans and back testing and messing around with that. I guess, I'm the Nintendo generation, so I see it as an adult form of Nintendo to me. And I add the score to a lot of those scans just to play around and see how that affects what's going on. I would also maybe suggest, someone Lonely Dove has been in here a bunch and asking some back testing questions and things like that for some swing algos. Perhaps that might be something, if you are here, Lonely Dove, you want to take a look at that score composite rating. And remember, like I was talking about in back testing and optimizing creating scans yesterday, don't go overly crazy with too many filters, and then over optimize. And then next thing you know, you end up, hours and hours and hours of work for kind of a scan that worked great 3 months ago and moving forward doesn't work at all. That's kind of how that goes. So that's that. I don't know if there's anything. What else is in here? This is what stock I think it is. TNDM. Yeah, I remember this stock when it was a $2 stock, like 27 fall. Let's say late summer, fall of 2017. It kept coming up on this RSI scanner that I had built. And it was like one of those things that like, make a 15, 20 cent move, which was a huge percentage because like a dollar or $2 stock. And I'm like, oh, this thing's never going anywhere. And then I woke up one day and the thing was at $80. It's funny how you remember history of some of these things here. So is there anything else in here jumping at me? This was trying to jump at me here a little bit, but I wasn't crazy about the volume earlier in the day. Kind of picked up a little bit here later. Car G. But this has that nice, these nice moves in it that I like here. All right. And I like how it's like a step moving up with that position in 20-day range, a nice gap up, and just kind of going for the day. Not crazy about it fading with the market at the end here. The market was really moving sideways, down sideways-ish. And this was still kind of trending itself up for a while there. Kind of just sold off with the market. Are we still open? Yeah. I got about 6+ minutes left before the market wraps it up on us today. Sorry, message I just want to respond to. So there is, what else? Anything else noteworthy in the TSIs for me personally? Michael was talking about this in the Q&A. I've been eavesdropping a lot on the YouTube channel all day long between Barry and, the other guys that are in there. Oh, interesting. This was a Holly alert today. Okay, very interesting. So again, a little bit out of my price range, but I've been starting to expand a little bit, maybe that price range. But again, I like when I see this kind of stuff, and I always, disclaimer that I like this pattern, so I see it. It's not always there. Someone might see me draw those lines and be like, what the heck is this guy drawing? And you might very well be right. So, it's all relative to what we see. What I don't care for is this kind of, couldn't get through there, and I'll call that a challenge for it and couldn't do it. And now it's blocked down here and blocked down here again. So we'll see. Shipping, deep sea freight. I mentioned freight yesterday. We talked about B-Dry yesterday. These are shipper index that I look at here. Really wish this bug was not happening to me with those 15-minute charts, but it is what it is. So, we talked about last week's B-Dry action. Looked real nice. Moved right up into the 50 moving average here. We'll see if we can push through that or not. And then I brought up a few different, let's see, this was something that I was looking at for shippers. So now, we see a few more shippers that are starting to pop up. What does that mean? It means maybe keep an eye on shippers for a little bit here. All right. So, today really mimicking the market, gap up, and really just kind of straight across from there. We've really pulled away from these moving averages here, though, in this last week of that. So I think that's reflecting a lot of what B-Dry is doing, some very big similarities between that and that index. Disney. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. Once a gamer, always a gamer. I still have, I got a setup over here that's next to my trading setup for games later at night after I've done a little scanning, reward myself with a game once in a while. Um, no, no, Dan, you're not the only one. I mean, I have hit and miss times when I'm making lots of scans. Some days I'm doing more than others for scans. Just kind of depends on life in general. Disney. What does Disney look like? Disney looks like trying to make a trend change here. Wow. I was not expecting that kind of move up and down from Disney. I knew Disney had, made a real nice move beginning of the year. I just didn't realize that it had gotten this high. I'll be honest, the last time I really paid attention to Disney's price action was right around the area that it's in now. Just goes to show you how fast a year goes by. I believe something came out that they added a whole bunch of less subscribers to Disney Plus than they were expecting. Like the indexes, it stayed very range bound for a very long time, but all of a sudden that range got smaller down here. All right. And that's it. It gave it up. Earnings must have murdered it, so it was already showing a lot of weakness. I think, we can say that's behind us, obviously. We put this base in here down just above 140, which seems to be a pretty significant level. All right. And we're back up to here, so no happy coincidence that this gap and price action right now have begun to catch up to each other. So, one of those tough ones. I would say Disney, with 12 mil shares trading, just doing its normal volume, all the hoopla of its earnings disaster. I just have to surmise not only an earnings disaster, but they guided poorly. And, you've got reemergences of whatever for COVID. Travel restrictions, who can come, who can't, where are you going, so on and so forth. You're a little bit at the mercy of news with this one. So the chart tells me hang out, don't go chasing anything. That's a lot of damage coming down like that. Kind of had to bounce, which again, I often talk about a return to the mean. So that's kind of what it's doing now. I'm trying to think. So it had its earnings back in November. It's just nothing I would go chasing, quite personally. There's nothing jumps out at me by Disney right now. There's no, the market was telling you it was weak. We didn't trust it right going into earnings. This is literally what the market just told us. The market told us we peaked, all right, and now all through here, and we're kind of in a waiting game for anything major to happen here. It's just going to be range bound. And then the market said, I've lost confidence in you, Disney, completely. And then earnings came out and absolutely crushed it. So I suppose, depending on, what your risk appetite is, how you can share size, especially on these larger price stocks like this. Got a well-defined bottom right here, I would say, but I would not be surprised to see that come and test that bottom. So, what do you want to call your bottom on this if you were trying to enter it? We can split hairs about how we do things, and it's all going to be relative to your time frame. Also, what you're looking for, you obviously can call that a bottom. Can we call this a bottom here? Because it seems to have had a lot of magnetized to this price action or this price level right here as well. So, you call yourself maybe a tight stop around this area here, the body of these candles, something like that. You can see the body of all these candles kind of matching up here. This body, this body, this body, this body, this body, this body. They're all kind of right in a line here. So that might not be a unhealthy stop to have, and try to let it work sideways and move up from there. So that would be my thoughts there. But outside of Disney doing something spectacular, the chart isn't telling me a whole lot to be jumping in on that. Doc U, let's take a look. Barry made a comment about this, say something like a buyout or something. I don't know. I wasn't honestly paying attention. I don't know what he was seeing there. Maybe it was a different stock he was mentioning. Yeah, that's it's not a fun chart to be a bag holder in right now. I'll tell you that. Yeah, that's tough. I wouldn't touch that with your money. So I'll make sure I'm all caught up here. Yeah, looks like we're good on the questions. So I haven't even talked any AI yet today. Kind of an ant day again. I don't know. Like I said yesterday, I really feel like yesterday was that anomaly where, if we go back and we look at the price action, the SPY over a couple of weeks, we had this grind moving down here. Where's my drawing tool? We had this grind moving down, and a lot of gap ups that just gave it up afterwards. And so we were in this channel moving down right here, very nice, clear, easy channel to look at, I think. And so Holly optimizing and back testing, that's what happened. She came almost all short strategies yesterday, and then of course the market gaps up and moves up for the day yesterday, with the exception of the sell off towards the end. But by that time, Holly's her strategies are done running for the day, more or less. Some of them shut off at noon, some shut off at 2 o'clock. So by the time that sell off was happening, with the exception of Power Hour Short, which was in there, I just didn't find anything. So she got knocked back on her heels in that sense from all that. I think she came with more of a mixed bag. More of a bag to the long side today. Yeah, much more long side today. But again, these big gap ups like this, all right, we make that big gap up and we make initial move, and then we're stuck here, all right? So there's no, and that's what, if you look at a lot of charts, that's what everything was doing. There was no edge in alpha in any of these today, unfortunately. So she had some okay entries. Like I said, the exits could always be better managed, unfortunately. But, take a look at NTR. And we get the alert here on NTR, and she calls bottom right there, on that pullback, and makes it nice 5, 10, 15, 20 minute move, and it kind of hangs up there for another 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes or so. So not bad, 50 plus cents there on that move. Let's see what we get up to. 70. Hello, there we go. So, 60 something cents, almost 70-cent move, something like that off that alert. Plenty of time to get out, manage that trade well. You also had a good amount of time to get in that trade as well. As the alert comes in at the bottom of this candle, and so you have this candle and the beginning of this candle to decide, do I want to take this trade? So again, back to my big theme: man and machine, human and machine, woman and machine, person and machine. Same kind of concept, closer concept here, or excuse me. Those are the words that I'm looking for. Close to the same concept here is what I'm trying to say. We make that entry here, the bottom of that candle, so she kind of nails that pullback. And we make a move up, can't quite bust through the range of today. We get a pullback again to that entry right on the line. And then we get a nice grind up again here. Relighting the world on fire with that alert? No, but certainly quality alert. Why is it a quality alert? Well, a couple of reasons. Look at this daily chart, all right? We're pretty beat up. We know we got a good range on here. We had a gap up yesterday and, came back down here to almost touch that gap again. We get a gap up again today. We have the market on our side today. We're looking at a nice liquid stock, okay? And we get a couple of green 15-minute bars moving up for us here, okay? So now we know we've gapped and we're strong, all right? We put in a high. We're buying on this pullback here, and we're not extended from any moving averages, any of these shorter term moving averages at all, giving us a quality shot at an entry. Not every quality entry is going to be a winner. That's just the way it shakes out sometimes. I've had plenty of what I would consider quality entries on some trades that I've made that turned out to be pretty awful. pretty awful trades. That's the way it kind of goes. So SFY looked okay here to me today. How do you incorporate manual exits into my back testing? I want to automate entries, but all manual exits, the stops are broken. There isn't a way, because it's going to make you exit no matter what on every back test. I mean, the best that you could do, it's not ideal, but you go with a timed exit after, however many days you want to do it at. Just put it, something ridiculous out there or whatever, and then kind of go through the calendar on a lot of these trades and see how they did. So, like, for example, if we did that with this here, and I'm just going to click simulate buy for fun. Yeah, it broke the OM. So take one more second here to get this loaded, but then I go through the calendar and kind of start to look at trades. That's I know it's not ideal, but I can't really think of much else. It's not even returning anything to me. Break the OM. Something better to back test here. With 11 days out and see if this works a little better. Interesting. Well, that was very interesting. Kind of just randomly did that. That's funny. Brought that win factor way up. So, that's going to give its exit price for all that time afterwards. So, here's the entry on the 10th, and, you can go through the chart and kind of look at, what the strategy is doing in that sense, and to get that man and machine sense. There's just not really, there's no workaround for not having an exit on there. You don't have to, though. What you don't have to do is have an exit in Brokerage Plus. When you move that strategy over, what you can do, I guess the other workaround that you can do is this. Let's just pretend that let's just pretend that this here is the strategy that you're working on, and you want to test it, and you put in the sim, whether you want to connect it to IB's paper trading or our paper trading, and go to exit trading strategy. You don't have to have an exit plan. You don't have to select an exit time. You don't have to select a stop loss or a target. So you could technically, what you could do is run Lonesome Dud. What you do is run the strategy in the sim every day, and then watch what it does. That might be a workaround for you on the back testing, and kind of see what your results are like that. Because it won't close out anything unless you tell it to. So just open those trades until you decide to manually close them. Have an open position limit. You mean like how many trades it can open at the same time, Dan? Right. Do you mean how many trades that the back test you can open at the same time, though? Is that what you're asking? I suppose its limit would be limited to what alert windows can do. So a couple of things with the back tester and Brokerage Plus in a combination. One, they're meant for real retail traders. Realistically, what retail traders are trading, let's say 40 stocks in a minute? Zero. Okay. Number two, we do have some bandwidth limitations. So I believe an alert window can let in, I want to say it's like technically 30 alerts in a second at once can populate an alert window. I have to go back through some notes when I was having discussion with Phil, who's one of the one of the founders and I guess the main one of the main men behind Trade Ideas Technology. He sent me something about it. I search my emails. But something like I don't know. I don't know if maybe it was 25 or 35 alerts can technically come through a window at once. So I suppose that Brokerage Plus could send that many that many orders to IB at once. I don't know what that's going to do to their API. And then the other thing is with the backtester, it would make sense the fact that if that many alerts can come through at one time, that the backtester would be able to pick it up too, since the alerts are coming through that alert window anyways. What its exact limitations are, I'm not sure. I'm sure it has limitations. The last thing that I comment on it, being for retail traders is this. You get a lot of people that come up with these scalping strategies. Haven't seen anybody come to me with one in a little bit, so I'm overdue for some of these tickets to start coming in. But you get a lot of people that think they're going to outsmart the markets, the market makers, the high frequency traders and things like that. And they come up with these crazy strategies where they're trying to trade 1 and 2 cent stop losses or 1 and 2% stop losses on $3 stocks that are moving 15 cents a second. and then they, sometimes a back test will show it actually works as a strategy. They go to apply it in real life and it doesn't work because the bottom line is you're going up against people that are paying tens of millions of dollars to be closer to the servers of the exchanges. They're not paying that money because it doesn't matter. That's what you're going up against. So I'm not saying that you can't come up with scalping strategies that are in the theme of what I'm discussing, but your odds of outsmarting the market makers and the high frequency traders and those are very, very, very small odds on any of that. So, make of that what you will. So, all right, we caught that. Manual exits. Is there a version of the program that doesn't resembles Windows 3.1? Nope, this is it. This is what you get. ProtoX. I'll be honest, I spent nearly $1,700 on this platform on a sale about 8 months back. Since then, I found I used it half a dozen times, probably because of lacking easy use and UI. Well, I have to ask, how many times have you been to our live Q&As, asking questions, spending time in the traders room, the user's guide, our live chats, our emails? We have a lot of support out here. If you have, I've been doing this for several months now at 3:30, so. I did this to try to get, Trade Ideas and say, hey, go out and start doing a late day Q&A. I would like to get people as much support as I can. I take the flip side of the coin from you, ProtoX. I knew absolutely nothing about trading a little over 4.5 years ago, and here I am working for Trade Ideas now. Am I hitting it out of the ballpark on every trade? Nope. Am I earning a living trading? Yep. And that's someone that I was a career restaurant person, waiter, bartender, manager, general manager of some restaurants. And one day I decided I was sick of it and I was going to bound and determined to learn trading. I found Trade Ideas. I found the community built around it. And, I've been able to do it since. Is everybody going to find that value? No, of course not. But if you come to us with some of your specific concerns, some we might be able to address, some we might not be able to address. Things like our external linking, I have found to be very useful for quite a few users who were having trouble. They don't want to use Brokerage Plus. They have Thinkorswim. I used Thinkorswim for years. External linking was great. This is a time in sales window from Trader Workstation, but I could do the same thing with Thinkorswim. Now all of a sudden, I've got the symbols loading into my box here. Quick share size and an execution versus having to get the symbol in there, so on and so forth. We have an incredible amount of scans pre-built. If you've got a scan you want built, we're not going to back test and optimize it for you, but we'll certainly get you a template, work with you on it. Andy was in a live chat with someone today for 2 hours working on a scan for him with him. Can we do that with every user every day? Nope. But, it's there. So, I'm sorry if you didn't find the value in it in this year. Maybe in the last few months here, you make these late day Q&As. And we don't just have this. We have our live Q&As on this stream every day at noon. Barry opens this channel at 9 Eastern every single day. So, I was having this discussion with people today. I find it very hard to understand why people are out there paying for trading rooms and using trade ideas when we have a trading room that absolutely destroys everybody else's trading room. No other trading room even close to ours. And our trading room is free. You don't even have to be a subscriber. So, I hope in the next couple of weeks and months before your subscription's up, you can make our trading room here, whether it's this side of the broadcast or the other side where Barry does it from too. It's all the same that Barry does it. We have our noon Q&As here, and I'm here, every day for usually an hour each day. I do have to leave in a couple of minutes, dentist appointment. But if you bookmark this Proto X, and maybe we can turn that around for you. I hope we can. We don't have a Discord. This is it for us. We have this here, and you can find on our homepage this here. Open, copy link address. You can get to the trading room. So this stream that I'm doing now is solo right now at 3:30. It opens. Barry, who runs our trading room every single day, he broadcasts from this stream here, and he has another stream through that link that I just shared with you. Every day he opens at 9 Eastern and runs till 3 o'clock. And then on this side of the broadcast, he gives it up for an hour at noon Eastern every day for something just like this. There's no pre-done content. You guys come, you ask the question, the content's driven by you. I'm kind of droning on about a few different things because there wasn't a lot of questions at the beginning here for me. So, yeah, I get that, Lonesome Dove. That I would say the best thing I could say for you is to run it in the simulator and do it like that. All right, I just realized that the 0 hour just ran up on me for this appointment here. So, all right, I have to wrap up for the day. I'm sorry to cut it about 10 minutes short here on everybody, but I will be back here tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern doing the exact same thing for an hour tomorrow. Like I said, Barry opens this at 9 o'clock every single morning. He's a little more trading focused, but he knows the software really well. If he doesn't know what he's going to tell you, he's either going to find you a video on it, or he's going to send you to me or someone else in our support chat. We're going to help you out that way. And then, like I said, I'm here at 3:30 Eastern every day, trying to give you guys as much as I can for, live help here right on screen, sharing the screen. So I know, a big thing is, we get a lot of people that are like, why can't you just call me? Why can't you just share a screen? Because there are 1,000 people that ask us that every day. And Trade Ideas is going to hire 1,000 trader trainers. That's, just realistically speaking. So you're welcome, Proto X. I hope that, like I said, I hope, if you can pop in here over the next few weeks, maybe we can turn it around and you can find some value of that 1,700 that you spent. I certainly, it's no small amount of money. Believe me, I know. As a subscriber for years and years before landing a job here. So, all right, I do have to run, everybody. Thank you very much. I hope to see you all back here tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern. Take care. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Bye-bye.